Transformers more than meets the eyes. This is Chucky from Collecting for Fun, and I have a cool video for you guys today. This, my friends, is the Walmart release of Seaspray, Autobot Seaspray, and this is a mini bot. Original Seaspray is right over here, and this was one of my favorite toys when I was growing up. It's pretty simple to transform. You just flip the head up, bring this down, flip the legs up. A little bit stiff, so I have to be careful. Okay, and then the arms just kind of move up from there. Old toy. This thing is over what? I don't know, 50, almost 40 plus years old. So yeah, or almost 40 years old. So it's still decent shape. So we're going to have a look at. You can see how he compares. It's much smaller. We're going to see how this compares to the updated version. Just transforming back in, and we're going to have a look at this Seaspray here. So this is coming in old style packaging. You can see the art of the transformer here. You can see the the interpretation of the artist right there. Autobot Signia right there, but I don't see one there. So you can see they've taken some liberties in the art. And then on the back, you can see the old style, stats of the transformer here. You can see the strength is pretty low. Looks like it's about 3. Intelligence is 8. Speed is 6. And firepower is also 6. So, and you can see what it says here. Sea spray function be unyielding as the ocean waves and your enemy shall fall. This displays a zest for job unmatched by fellow Autobots, loves the ocean, and its creatures loves the thrill of naval battle. So yeah, that makes sense. All right, and again, this is released in exclusively from Walmart, so you can pick this up at the Walmart site right now. So let's open this up. I think I just have to pull this thing out. So let's get him out of there. Let's pull that out there. We got the instructions over here. So I do not know how many steps there are, but I'm going to see if I can transform this one. It's a mini bot, so I can't imagine it being that difficult to transform. But I guess we'll find out. Let's get it out of the packaging. Ah. Oh, it looks like it's tied in. There we go. And it looks like it's tied in on the bottom. Okay. Let's pull the tie out of there. It's stuck there. All right. There he is there. And we got his gun. Let's see if we can get the gun out. All right. So I'm going to put this back into here because I don't need it. And we'll put that up back there. Okay. So let's put the gun in his hand. Yeah. So let's have a look at the posability of this guy. Looks pretty good. The joints do move. The elbow does move. The hand does not move too much. There's no swivel too badly in there at all. So this holds the gun. Good posability otherwise. It's got good mobility in the arms on both sides. Can he do? Yeah, he moves his arms up 90 degrees. Let's see. His head. Yeah, you can turn his head. It's a little bit tricky because the giant thing on top, these propellers. But yeah, the head can move 360. Leg movement, let's see. Torso movement all around, just 360 there. And as far as leg movement, let's see. He can bend. Yep. He's got good mobility in his legs. Got good foot mobility on both sides. So yeah, you can definitely do some posing. He's got big ass feet. So very good for posing. Very good for posing. Let's get that gun back in there. It popped off. So yeah, there we go. Let's get him all set up there. So yeah, he's quite posable there. So that is awesome. And so let's have a look at what he can do. So in comparison to some of the other counterparts of the mini bots, so again, this is not a Studio Series release or 86 release, but it is it's a contemporary of the original mini bot. So let's see how he compares. This is a Studio Series Bumblebee, so he is bigger than Bumblebee, at least the Studio Series wise. We have the Studio Series 86 Brawn, and Walmart does have a version of Brawn. I think I'll see if I can get that. And I'm not sure if I'm going to actually open it because I think it's the exact same transformation as this bronze, just the head shape's a little bit different. Probably more in line with the actual toy. And I think the sea spray is supposed to be in line with the actual toy, which is right over here. And let's see the head. Yeah, you can see the head shape is identical. So I think this sea spray is identical to what we see on the toy versus what we see on the show. Okay, height wise, it's taller. The head's about the same, but the propellers are definitely way higher. I would love to see if that Walmart can release a Warpath or a Power Glide. Oh, I would love that. Anyways, here is Cosmos, or even if just Hasbro can just release a version of that that looks like the cartoon, that'd be great. And then we also have Gears. So this is actually a big boy here. It's a tall one compared to the other mini bots. So that's pretty cool. And then let's say have a look at even some of these other guys. Like he's almost the same size as Jazz with the propellers, almost right. He's getting there, right? This is the Legacy Jazz. It's the same height and size and almost this identical toy as the Studio Series, other than I think the windows. And then we also have, let's have a look, some of the other trailer Transformers. We have Blaster. So Blaster is much taller, of course. He would be. We have Optimus as well. So let's have a look at Optimus Prime. Much, much taller. Like you can't even see Optimus's head. So, size comparison, he looks pretty much in line what you would expect him to be. He's a little bit taller than some of the other mini bots that are similar to him, but he's obviously and would be smaller than some of the other Transformers that are not mini bots, that are also Autobots. So that's pretty good. So I have not looked at the instructions, so let's have a look at those. I don't think any stickers need to go on, so thank goodness, because I hate putting stickers on toys. And let's have a look at the... So we have the instructions right here. I just popped them open. And we'll go over the steps here. I don't know how many steps there are. Is there other side? Oh, there is another side. So it looks like there's over 20 steps to get them there. All right. So let's try to figure them out. So let's take the gun off first. Take the gun off first. I'm assuming we got to straighten the arms a bit. All right. And it looks like the first thing we're going to do is we're going to turn his head. And it looks like we got to turn his arms. All right. So let's turn his head around. A little bit hard to turn the head because of the propellers again. There we go. Head's turned. And it says we got to turn the arms around this way. So let's do that. Turn the arms around this way. And that looks like it's lining up okay. All right. And then we are we're going to turn him around. And then it looks like we're flipping out these side panels here, I think. Let me just pause for a sec. Yeah, so we were going to basically flip these side panels out. And so when we're looking at this front part, these parts come out here somehow. And I think they're kind of they're moving out. Oops, I pulled it out. All right. So at least you can't really break it. You can just accidentally pull pieces out. Let me pop that back in. Okay. Guess it'll be easier to know how to do this once I kind of figure out where it's going. Anyways, back there, we're going to flip this piece out. And then we're going to flip the piece up here. Yeah, we're going to flip the head down, it looks like. Or this whole thing comes down. Hold on, let me put this arm down. It looks like this is supposed to come out. Yeah, it looks like this piece is supposed to drop somehow. Ugh, this is a little bit trickier than I expected to be. All right, so let's play around with this just a bit more and see. Oh, there it goes. Oh, this piece came off again. Let's pop that back in. The problem with this piece is it's a double hinge, so it doesn't want to stay in there properly. Ugh. Let's bend this back in all the way. All right, we'll get that in a second. Okay, got that in. So what I'm having trouble with right now, guys, is this part right here. It looks like we're supposed to flip the head down, and it's supposed to come in kind of like that. So we're trying to get the propeller down and the whole head up. So let me see if I can do that, because it doesn't want to seem to cooperate with me. So pulling this okay, so that's down. So the instructions are quite confusing there. So it's basically you pull that down there, and then let's see what the next step is. So it seems we're going to pretty much pull this flap down, and then these arms have to slide in. So we're floating these in like this, and the arms kind of come down like so. Okay, and then this thing comes up. So let me just see. I think this actually has to lock in here. So let's lock this in here. There we go. And this one lock up. So now it's starting to look something semblance. And it looks like there's some hinges here that lock into there. So we're going to lock that in. I think we're supposed to lock that in. It looks like it's supposed to snap in there. Okay. And now we're going to look at the feet. Okay, so we got the arms out like this. I don't know if the hands turn in a bit or not. It doesn't look like they do so far. So now we're going to look at the feet. We're going to pull these down here. And then we're pulling, we're flipping it around and pulling these things down here. Okay, so we'll pull that piece down here, pull that piece down there. All right, and then those snap in. All right, now we're on to the next side. And we're going to turn him around again, and we're going to flip out some of the feet parts. So there's this part here. It looks like this part flips out as well. This part here. Yeah, just those three pieces. And then we're turning it around again. And it looks like a couple things are happening here. So let me just pause a second so I can see exactly where we're heading. So it looks like, I had to pause for a second just to kind of gear it. So it looks like in the next few steps, we're going to loosen the feet up, toggle them back, and flip the foot down into a 9-degree angle like that. And then we're going to shove it in to the sides. So let's kind of do that. So we're going to bring these feet back here, and we'll kind of do that in one kind of motion here, and kind of bring those feet back like that. And yeah, I don't know why they drew it to look at that complicated, but it basically, we're putting it like that. Okay, so we're flattening it like this, and then we're going to basically push the feet together, and then it doesn't look like we're locking these in quite yet. I think we will eventually, and I think we have to lock in these feet here a little bit there. Cool. Now we locked in the feet, and then we're going to flip it around again, it looks like, and we're going to shove this up. Okay, so there is a locking mechanism right there and there, and it looks like we're shoving this up into there. And then we are flipping this whole thing back down again. There we go. And somehow, yes, okay, and we can compress this whole side in and bring these pieces down. Looks like that. So now it's starting to look like it's coming together. So I have to get the arms in there. So the arms get hidden into here. All right, so it's coming together. The arms are there. Just got to lock the arms to get them straighter. And then we're going to kind of lock in um, these parts here. Lock that in. Looks like this thing has to turn around. Lock that in. And then I think these have to lock in a bit more. I think that's pretty much it. Let me just see. Am I missing anything here? I think that's it. And we just can add the gun to the side here if we want. Okay. So we'll practice a little bit more with that to get that quite right there. But it looks like we got that there. And then this gun can go right over here. So I think the instructions. This is why I like doing the playing with it first before I transform it, because the instructions sometimes are a little confusing. They don't, you know, there's like extra movements in there that are not absolutely necessary, and I'm not sure. Yeah, that looks right there. So that, my friends, is Seaspray transformed. You can see the original Seaspray and the new version. Much, much, much bigger. Much like quadruple the size. It looks like Seaspray in robot and other modes. So they did some decent engineering there. This part's not 100% closed, and I don't know why. There it is. Okay. All right, so Autobot insignia is right over here. It looks pretty much similar to the original toy, so I like that. Obviously, much more mobility underneath. Not bad at all. So let's go ahead and transform it back. Let me see if I can figure this out. So I know we have to turn this thing around. We're going to kind of loosen up these panels here, and I release these foot things here. Move the arms out. And now we're going to kind of release the entire hip junction here. We'll lift this part up. We're going to release these parts out of here. Release that out of there. Kind of lift this whole torso out so we can kind of bend the legs back out again. Get that out. Get that out. And I think we have to kind of bend. Remember bending something in here. All right, let's get the legs good. And this has a double bend over here. And looks like there's a very tight junction there. We gotta unloosen this area so we can get the feet out better. There we go. Okay, and then we're gonna lock these in. And then we're gonna figure out this head part here. So this part needs to come down. This part needs to shove it down. These arms need to go up. Remember that. Has to turn up here. And then this arm has to turn up here. And then we kind of lock this into place there. The head will just turn around. Ugh. Oh, there we go. All right, now the head can turn around. All right, so we just got to get the arms and foot right. So with the feet, I think this has to come in somehow. Oops, I think this is supposed to be straight before it comes in. Why does it just go like that? This has to go back. That turns in. We'll flip that foot back over here. Now that can go back. Flip that down. All right, flip this up. We're in and down. And this has to go in, and that goes in. All right, so we got the foot, got the arms turned around again. So a little bit, obviously much more involved than the original Seaspray. There we go. So yeah, all in all, a decent toy. It's the instructions are a little bit more complicated than I think it needs to be. I think now that we have a better understanding of where it's going, I think it's going to be a lot easier to transform it going forward. So we'll do it one more time, but this time without the instructions so that we can do it cleaner. Okay, so let's straighten this all out, and we'll give it a one more whirl, transforming it so you guys can see it kind of more clean. Now that we kind of have the basic understanding how to transform it, we can do it faster. Okay, so we're going to take out the gun. Now we're going to put the arms straight, and we're going to turn these arms around. Okay, and then we're also going to turn the head around. So once we have that, then basically we're going to try to bend this entire torso area. So we're going to release this area because it's locked in. And then we're going to kind of bend this out. All right, and then basically this will now, and then also we'll have to bend these things out a little bit too. So we get those into position. And then we're going to lock in this area into these slots here just to get them and starting to get into semblance of where they're supposed to be. So once we got this part done, we're going to lock this also into here. All right. Ugh. There and there. All right, so that kind of hides the head part. And then we're going to start working on the feet now. The feet, we're going to bring out these parts here, and this part will flip around and then lock into position. So that locks in the part of the front part of the hover part. And then we're also going to go to the back and kind of bring out these flaps here. And then we're going to do kind of bend this whole foot thing down here and kind of locking the feet in there as well. And then we got to do a double bend of the hip area. So this piece have to be out there. And we're going to basically bend this into that slot right there, this into there. So we're going to bend that into there and then just bring it straighten down or flatten down the feet a bit there. And then just kind to line up the, hold on. Ah, is it locked in? I don't think that's locked in all the way. There we go. Okay, and then we're just going to line up the feet part now. So we're bending out these areas here to kind of line them up into these slots over here. Line up the feet. And then the hands have to kind of fit underneath there. So I have to, these parts here. Ah. These have to lock into there. These have to lock into there. Oh, I forgot one major piece here. That's why it's not lining up. The arms need to turn. So let me just turn these arms. Let me flip this out again. We're going to flip these arms down. And now lock this piece in. Because these arms have to come down to this area. So let me just bend this back up again. Uh-oh, what did I just do? This has to bend out. Ah. These arms have to come out here. This has to bend into here. And I screwed something up earlier, so I had to kind of fix it back up. So we got to straighten those arms out there. These arms kind of come down to the sides. This locks into here. Good. And then these arms have to tuck in underneath this part over here. Okay, now that's better and lining up. And then we just have to lock the arms in, lock these in, and we basically got Seaspray back into his vehicle mode, just locking in all the joints now. Okay, and so yeah, Seaspray. Oh, I gotta turn this thing around. Seaspray. Yeah, if you look at the instructions, they're a little bit confusing. But I mean, at the end of the day, we're basically getting this chest turned around, get the arms tucked in, get everything, all these sides lined up properly, and then we're good to go. So guys, this is Chucky from Collecting for Fun. I hope you enjoyed this look at Seaspray from the Walmart line. And to me, it's a decent toy. The instructions are a little bit unclear. It could have been made more clear, I think, personally. But it is what it is. So we'll just turn it back into robot mode. And so, guys, thank you so much. If you like Transformers, you like Walmart exclusives, please hit that like and subscribe button. And we will try to get some more. And hopefully the instructions are a little bit more clear. I know there's a Brawn one, and the Brawn one I probably may get, but I don't know if I'm going to open it because it's the exact same as this Brawn over here, other than the head. So I don't know if it makes a lot of sense getting an exact duplicate of that toy, other than the head shape. And but yeah, Seaspray, I didn't get the one they did when they had the legacy ones. So that's why I figured I'll get this one, because I've been looking for the other legacy version and I could not really find it easily. Um, and yeah, you would have. And I haven't. Was not able to go to the Transformer Con this year because I was traveling, and so that didn't work out. So I was not able to look for it. So I'm glad they have the Walmart version here so that I can grab this version. So much easier to transform once we get to know exactly where it's heading. So guys, this is Chucky from Collecting for Fun. Thanks for having a look at Seaspray, and we will see you guys next time. Take care.